start this.
But I know Greg was not gonna come today, he's on vacation.
Randy's on.
Paul's on. so-
Okay. It's all good.
I am here.
Okay. Now hopefully Deirdre can log on. Yeah, so if Deidre logs in, public link, I can turn her into a panelist.
Okay,
So,
Okay. We're just gonna wait one more minute to start.
so. I sent Natasha an email to send her a link to the public. When she logs in on the public, she'll log in here.
You can actually get that. CE. Yeah. Let me announce that. The course attendance forms. Website. Okay. If you can remember. Sure.
All right, well. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We're waiting for one more, but. Hopefully she'll be getting on soon. My name is Diane Baxter. Welcome to the February 11th, 2025 LSP board meeting. As always, the board encourages interactive participation. If a member of the public would like to participate in the meeting, please type a question in the chat feature. I encourage all board members to turn their cameras on and ensure your cell phone is on silent mode. I will now proceed with roll call to establish who from the board is participating in today's meeting and confirm quorum.
Deidre's.
Okay. All right, David Austin,
Yes, here.
Neil Batchelder,
I'm here.
Kathy Campbell. Not here yet. Craig Ellis,
Here.
Kirk Franklin,
Here.
Greg McBride. Paul McKinley,
I am here.
Deirdre Manoyo,
Here.
Jamie Smith,
Present.
and Diane Baxter is here.
Kathy, just.
Kathy Campbell's present.
Okay, Kathy, thank you. Okay, before we proceed, I'd like to ask people here in the room to also introduce themselves briefly before, just for the benefit of those who are participating online. We recognize the cameras in the room aren't all that great. So Terry, do you want to start?
sure, I'm Terry Wood, I'm the board's executive director.
Matt Line, staff scientist, investigator, PE coordinator.
David Austin, board member.
Chris Borges, IT.
And again, Diane Baxter, LSP board chair. Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum, so we can proceed. Chris, do we have any members of the public participating?
There are 6 members of the public, Brian Roden, Christopher Gill, Christy LaFerme, Lars Anderson, Lori McCarthy, And Wendy Rundle.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to turn over to David Austin for the Continuing Education Committee meeting.
Sure, I call it to order at 12:07. February 11th. I don't know of any announcements or agenda additions. Meeting minutes from the last meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any edits or comments on the meeting minutes? So doing the roll call to approve the meeting minutes from last month. Yes is approving. Kirk?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
David's a yes. Diane?
Yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Deirdre?
Yes.
And Kathy?
Yes.
Thank you. We have 6 new course approval requests. In the past, we've done, can I do 4 at once? We've done that in the past, right? It's the same provider. Can we?
I don't see why not.
I've done it in the past. It's fewer roll calls.
yeah,
Okay, go for
makes sense.
So the first 4 are from the LSPA. The first one is environmental law for LSPs. It was previously presented, and they want to do it now, a webinar and future on demand as a 3-hour course. It's been reworked. There we go. So we are proposing the new 3-hour course to have the same course number with the letter D at the end of it. The other offering is 1.5 technical live webinar on demand membership meeting tomorrow. And the third request is bioremediation basics, innovations, and applications for technical credits, live webinar and on demand. Live on March 4th. And then the last request from LSPA is PFAS due diligence and understanding stakeholders, risk considerations, 2.5 technical credits, live on March 12th, and then future on demand. So I make a motion to approve all 4 as proposed.
Second,
We have
Any discussion?
Okay.
Any discussions from the public or the board? So I'll look through the roll call. Yes is approving all 4 requests. Kirk?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
David is a yes. Diane?
yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Deirdre?
Yes.
And Kathy.
Yes.
The 5th request is from Rutgers, right? Subslab, SSDS Advanced Techniques, 4 technical credits. They're gonna have 6 polling questions. It's a live webinar on the 27th. I make a motion to approve.
So second.
Any discussions from the public? Board? My yes is approving. Kirk?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
David's a yes. Diane?
yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Deirdre?
Yes.
And Kathy.
Yes.
The last request is from the EBC, their 6th annual PFAS seminar, 4.5 technical credits. This week in person. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the board or the public? Yes is approving. Kirk?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
David is a yes. Diane?
yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Deirdre?
Yes.
and Kathy.
Yes.
That concludes the meeting. The next meeting will be in March and the forms will be provided in the course numbers to the course providers based upon the voting today.
Yep, I'll get those course attendance forms to the course providers in a day or two, and the website will be updated with the new courses in a day. Thank you.
So I'm ending the meeting at 12:12.
Okay, next is the Professional Conduct Committee meeting. I'd like to turn it over to Jamie Smith.
Thank you. Call the Professional Conduct Committee meeting to order at 12:13. Any announcements or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, moving to the draft minutes of January 21st. Are there any comments or is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay. Roll call, vote to approve is yes. Diane,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Jamie's a yes. Deirdre,
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Minutes of January 21st are approved. Moving on to old business and a review of active cases. As Terry, you'd
Sure. You do. Just pull the list. O5C07, I can report that the day after the last meeting, a letter was sent to the LSP saying that because the LSP's appeals were done, the board's final order could be imposed and that a one-year suspension would commence on February 21st. And also reminding the LSP that the LSP needs to complete 32 hours of additional continuing education credits before the LSP can next renew his or her license. So this one will come off after today. I just wanted to report that that letter went out. 12C01, that will be discussed at quasi judicial today. 18C01, that will be discussed at quasi judicial today. 18C02, the CRT met on January 24th and is next scheduled to meet on February 28th. And that's it.
great. Thank you. Moving on to new business, complaint 24C02. I believe the members have received redacted materials associated with that. Is that Terry or Matt to summarize or?
Now I'll give an overview of the complaint.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, as you mentioned, the redacted documents were given to board members last week. This is a complaint that we received in December 2024, and the LSP response came in January 31st. I'll give a quick site background and then turn it back to you, Jamie. So in May 1994, a release notification form was submitted to DEP for chlorinated VOCs reported in soil and groundwater above reportable concentrations. And the primary release tracking number was assigned. The site was a former circuit board manufacturer. In March 2011, a secondary release tracking number was assigned for vapor intrusion concerns. The phase reports and the IRA reports were completed by the prior site owner and the prior LSP. In July 2015, an IRA completion report Phase 4 completion report and ROS opinion were submitted by the previous owner. And it indicated that ongoing comprehensive response actions would be performed in ROS. In June 2016, site ownership was transferred and the LSP became the new LSP of record. At that time, the site was in ROS for remedial injections, SSDSs, and future monitored natural attenuation. The new owner continued to submit ROS status reports twice per year. In April 2024, Mass DEP conducted an audit that resulted in a notice of noncompliance and administrative consent order with penalty to the PRP in July 2024. The ACOP included 18 violations. On September 20th, 2024, the LSP resigned as LSP of record. Based on the ACOP, Mass DEP filed a complaint against the LSP on December 18th, 2024, and included 3 allegations. The first one, the LSP committed multiple violations of 310 CMR 40 MCP, including making false and misleading statements. The LSP failed to identify an imminent hazard, and the LSP failed to hold paramount public health. The LSP response was received on January 31st, 2025, and the LSP indicated that LSP was not responsible for many of the MCP violations because the PRP did not want to pay for the work, and the PRP did not authorize the work. LSP indicated that some of the MCP violations were only administrative errors. LSP indicated that the LSP had limited experience with sites in ROS and sites with APUMs. LSP indicated that LSP performed adequate due diligence to determine that an imminent hazard did not exist. And the LSP indicated that environmental justice activities are not required by regulation. So with that, I'll send it back to Jamie and for discussion, whether to accept the complaint and assign a CRT or to dismiss the complaint.
Thank you, Matt. Yep, so it seems like the next steps on this is to determine if this complaint warrants the establishment of a CRT. Is there any comment from the board on this?
I think a screening team or CRT is prudent considering the amount of content and the claims and counterclaims. So, and I'd be willing to serve on it since I'm not currently on a CRT.
I would suggest it be a CRT because of the nature of the allegations and the amount of allegations, as well as the difficulty in sorting it out. So it might as well just go to a CRT at this point, I would think.
Sure.
I agree with that. I think it warrants a CRT.
I agree.
So then
I second the motion, sorry.
Do we have I'm sorry, I didn't hear the motion.
I think David made it.
Okay.
Make a motion that we form a CRT.
Okay. Any further discussion from the board? Okay. Hearing none, yes vote is to establish a CRT. Diane?
I'm going to recuse on this as the complaint was brought by DEP.
Okay.
By people I work with.
Thank you. David?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Jamie's a yes. Deirdre?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was mute.
No worries. And Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Then I guess next steps is to determine the membership. David, you volunteered. Guess we
Yes.
need one other board member.
need a non-LSP.
I will.
Is that Kirk?
Yep.
It wouldn't be.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Is that Kirk that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Kirk. Kirk, I'll send you an email during the meeting, just to let you know who the person is and the site name, and just reply back if you need to recuse or not. David, I'll just talk to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other new business to discuss? Hearing none, next meeting will be March 11th. And I will bring the Professional Conduct Committee meeting to a close at 12:23.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay. Now the board meetings will begin and bring that to order at 12:23. I do not have any other announcement. Any announcements, do you, Terry?
I do not.
Or any additions or changes to agenda? Okay. Draft minutes, we'll take a review of the draft minutes of the meeting held on January 1st. Are there any comments on the draft minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second,
Okay, this is a roll call. Yes is approving. David Austin,
Yes.
Gail Batchelder,
yes.
Kathy Campbell,
Yes.
Craig Ellis,
Yes.
Kirk Franklin,
Yes.
Paul McKinley,
Yes.
Deirdre Manoyo,
Yes.
Jamie Smith,
Yes.
and Diane Baxter, yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a report from a recent quasi judicial session, and I'm going to read out that report. Let's see, this is regarding administrative consent order that resolves complaint 08C03. At a quasi judicial session held on August 13th, 2024, Ms. Wood presented a draft administrative consent order, ACO, resolving complaint 08C03 to the members of the board who were present. That was Mr. Austin and Ms. Baxter present in person, Ms. Batchelder, Ms. Campbell, Mr. Ellis, Mr. Franklin, Mr. Heron, Mr. McBride, and Mr. McKinley were present remotely. Mr. Smith was absent. Ms. Wood explained that the draft ACO settled the case with an agreement for the LSP to surrender his or her license effective December 31st, 2024, and not to reapply for a minimum of 1 year. After discussion, a motion was made and seconded to accept the ACO. The motion passed unanimously. Throughout this discussion, the respondent's name was kept confidential. Now that this matter has been closed, the LSP's name, Thomas P. Levy, is being made public. That is the readout. Okay, next item on the agenda is decisions regarding the licensing of applicants.
Oh,
Application review panel docket.
We have one candidate here to discuss, Jeffrey Schwartz, number 8382. That's actually the other docket, the ARP docket. Application review panel docket. I'm gonna pull it right off the. Okay. While Chris is doing that, I'll give a little background about the candidate. First off, the ARP on number 344, were members McKinley, member Franklin, and member Baxter. The applicant had a standard track application and had 25 years of total professional experience with 13 years of relevant professional experience. Mr. Schwartz is a registered professional engineer in 5 states. The ARP met on February 3rd to review and discuss the application. The ARP felt that the applicant was well qualified had more than enough relevant professional experience with good experience in many facets of the MCP, as well as work outside of the MCP. References were very good and highlighted additional work that the applicant completed. So the ARP recommended that Mr. Schwartz be approved to take the exam. Back to you, Diane.
All right, I'll take a roll call vote to accept the ARP's recommendation on candidate Jeffrey Schwartz.
Motion first.
Motion to
Yes.
approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, and yes is voting to accept the recommendation. David Austin,
Yes.
Gail Batchelder,
Yes.
Kathy Campbell,
Yes.
Craig Ellis,
yes,
Kirk Franklin,
yes,
Paul McKinley,
yes,
Deirdre Manoyo, Deirdre, you may be muted.
no, I said yes, I'm sorry, I'm not mute, wasn't muted, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay,
Jamie Smith
Yes.
and Diane Baxter, yes. Okay. Renewal applications. Can we get the dockets? All right, renewal docket 1. These people had 90-day extension. Now they have fulfilled their continuing ed credits, they being one person actually. Can I get a motion to
Motion to
approve this
approve.
docket?
Motion to approve, Doc.
second,
All right. David,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
yes,
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
yes,
Deirdre,
yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. That's okay. Docket number 2. So these people this person has requested a 90-day extension. All
Motion to approve, docket 2.
Second.
right. David,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
yes,
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
yes,
Deirdre,
if you said Deirdre, yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. All right, docket 3. Renewal for 130. They've completed all requirements for the renewal in January. Motion to approve?
Motion to approve, docket 3.
second,
Okay, David,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
yes,
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
yes,
Deirdre,
yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. All right, that's all the renewal dockets. Next, renewal status report, Matt?
Yes, so for the January 30th group, that have their license expiration on January 30th, 37 LSPs for on the renewal roster. We did get 33 renewal applications, leaving 4 LSPs who left.
All right. I don't think we have any other renewal related matters. Other licensing matters, though. Scheduling of future ARPs.
Yep.
Matt?
We have 5 applications in the queue. Just a background about William Brochu, who, ARP 342, just still waiting on one more reference form. So once we get that, we'll have a call with the ARP on that one. Matthew Bruno, number 9340, ARP 344, met last Thursday to discuss his application. The ARP tabled their decision and requested additional information. And then 3 new applications need new ARPs. Matthew Steele of GZA, Mitchell West of EKI Environment and Water, and Gina Golseth of SLR Consulting. So needing volunteers to serve on ARPs. If you can serve on 1, 2, or all 3, now's the time to speak up.
I can serve on 2.
Is there any one of those that you would have to recuse from, or?
No.
Okay.
I also can serve on 2.
I'm
Anybody
happy to
else?
serve if you need me.
You serve on 2?
Sure.
You need a non-LSP?
You need a non-LSP? That could be Deirdre.
Okay, thank you, Deirdre. And one more non-LSP willing to assist?
I can do the other one.
Okay. Okay, I'll email everybody later this week with the applications. Thank you.
So what does that put us in the queue for taking the next test, like 20?
We have about 14.
14?
So 12 new ones.
That includes this fund?
Yes. So 2 retakers and 12 new ones.
Thank you.
All right. The inactive status report. Natasha did you want to give us that?
So currently we have 2 on inactive status right now. Total number of active LSPs sits at 408. For our annual fees report, just a reminder, 421 invoices went out on January 2nd via ePlace accounts. Currently, we have, as of today, 334 have paid, 87 are outstanding. Just a reminder, payments are due by March 3rd, 2025. You can pay this balance online. There's also an option to pay by mail. If you choose by mail, further instructions will follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. Okay, next item is examinations. Matt, could you give us the exam committee report?
Yes. The exam committee met 3 times in January to complete the new question review and edits. Next step for the committee is a technical review process with the psychometrician, which will start next week. And the date for the next exam hasn't been set, but we are shooting for late spring. The homepage of the board website has been updated with that information, and approved candidates will be notified in advance once the dates have been set.
Right.
What's the definition of late spring? What month?
For being a little vague.
You say early summer?
We could maybe.
I don't know, I just want to be fair to people, that's all.
Yeah.
Probably looking at June. May, June is what we're shooting for.
Yeah, because once we do the technical review, then we also need to do a cut score workshop, so we're not sure how long those 2 steps will take.
Moving with all deliberate speed.
We're trying.
We're trying. Okay, continuing education committee report.
Yeah, we met today, we approved the meeting minutes from last month. and we approved 6 courses. And there'll be a meeting next month on the 11th.
I do have an update. About 5 minutes ago, I got a voicemail from EBC. Because of the weather on Thursday, their in-person course at WPI, they want to make it virtual, and make it a live webinar. I'm not sure how you want to handle that. Obviously, their application that was approved today didn't have any language about polling questions or attendance tracking remotely. So you can make it approval to, if they allow, if they have the required number of polling questions, which would be probably 7 for the 6-hour course. Or you could have them at the next board meeting have to have that information and reapprove it that way.
You can tell them that it's approved in that format and they have to have X number of polling questions.
You could
That
approve
they-
it like contingent on
Contingent.
that they meet the whatever requirements. I would do a motion, since it was the same people who were present for continuing that are here now, I would just maybe do a motion and have it approved in the new format.
Okay. So the motion is to approve the EBC PFAS seminar now in a webinar format with the assumption that they're going to have the required polling question.
So
But could I amend that for a minute and say that we would request something documenting that they will do that, not assume that they will.
Yeah, contingent, they provide documentation.
how they're gonna meet the board's requirements.
Second that motion as amended.
Any other discussions? So we approve this amended approval?
I do a roll call vote.
Okay, so a yes. Kirk? Kirk, you there? Paul?
I'm a yes.
Craig?
Yes,
Gail?
Yes,
David's a yes. Diane?
Yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Deirdre?
Yes.
And Kathy?
Yes.
okay. All right. And that's it for
Oh, yeah,
the
I'm sorry.
education committee,
That was it.
okay. Professional conduct committee report, Jamie?
Yeah, at today's meeting, we approved last month's minutes. We reviewed the active cases with 05C07 coming to a close with the suspension going into effect February 21st. 12C01, 18C01 will be discussed in quasi later today. 18C02, CRT is meeting and is in their process. We also discussed new case 24C02 as an agenda item and approved a motion to form a CRT for that case. And that is the report from the Professional Conduct Committee.
Thank you. Regulations, Terry, could you give us an update?
Yes, so I heard about 2 weeks ago that the draft regulations had moved from the DEP Commissioner's Office to EEA, and I haven't heard anything yet, like there's been no questions or I haven't received any comments or anything yet, so that's where they are right now.
And after EEA finishes with them, then they would
I think they
assume,
go to the governor's office.
okay,
And then once we might get, if they have suggested edits, then they would come back here, see if you want to incorporate those edits. And once that's all done, then they would be ready to go out for public comment.
so we've got a little bit of a path ahead of us.
Yeah, they're moving through the chain.
Moving through the chain, okay. All right, very good. Personnel budget and fees, any updates?
I have nothing to say on any of those topics.
Okay, status of board member vacancies, we continue to have one vacancy. And if anyone knows anyone in an environmental organization. That's what we're looking for. Okay, discussion of January 16, 2025 letter from the Licensed Site Professional Association regarding suggestions for improving the LSP application and exam experience. So we received a letter from the LSP Association with a number of suggestions for improving the application process to streamline it and make it less onerous, and also to possibly improve the exam experience. Does anyone have questions, comments on
Well, we
suggestions made?
received a lot of materials on Friday, so I haven't really studied it, but I appreciate the letter. And the ideas, actually, some of them are being incorporated and thought about in the exam committee. I don't think any of it, though, should be get in the way of finishing the current exam and offering it. And suggestions that are in that letter could be seriously considered by the board maybe in 2026 after this round of the exam.
Yeah. Here's Paul McKinley here. I was going to add to that you know, we've been doing a large effort on the exam committee to you know, basically retool that. So I would think that the better focus may be after the exam committee is completed its work and we give the exam to focus on the application. Serving on several ARPs lately, I think the application itself could use a little bit of a retool. That would be my opinion.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we need to consider when we start looking at this is looking at other similar boards, not just the engineering board, because that exam, first of all, the application in general for PGs, for LEPs, for LSRPs, just look at similar professions and see if their application is similar and what they've done to streamline it. And the other thing is, in terms of materials, also look at what other exams, again, similar profession to ours, not the engineering exam, because I believe the difference there is that the engineering exam is actually not a multiple choice test. You actually have to solve problems, which is why they allow you access to materials. It's not a strict knowledge based kind of, I mean, it requires you to actually solve problems to pass, which is very different. And if we had those kinds of questions, I would certainly say, well, then we certainly should provide the necessary materials to be able to solve problems. But other than that, I think we just need to sit down and think about it after we get the exam done and we see how it works. I mean, this is going to be a new approach for us too, and it will be much easier to look at questions, I think, once we have a good base for how people are responding to the newer questions and things like that. But the application process, I definitely think there might be ways to do it, not necessarily the ones that were suggested, but there might be improvements that we could certainly make based on what we see from other similar professions.
I would add that, as you know, those of us who serve on application review panels in the interim before we really get into it, just take note of, you know, keep in your mind, could this be improved? What do we, what information do we really need to, you know, to make a determination? Is there anything extraneous? So just kind of keep it in mind. Maybe you take a few notes as you're going through the review process, just to inform the future discussion.
And I also think, I really don't think that the process itself is what's holding people back from applying. it's been going on for a long time. It's similar to Connecticut's process. I happened to look at the application just to check. The same types of information are still being required. So I don't think that's the problem. I think it may be something to do with the nature of the job and how much people see a future in being an LSP.
Any other comments? So I think we're all of the opinion that we should wait to really seriously consider this till after we finish the exam. Do we need to take a roll call? Okay, well, I think Wendy, a couple of members of the LSPA. I think just thank you for your email or for your letter rather. We're certainly willing to, to look and take a hard look and see if there are any improvements that can be made, but we certainly appreciate your input. So thank you, and we'll table it till we have a little bit more time and the exam is complete.
But the application process is separate from this exam. That could be
brought up
considered separately.
separately.
Yeah.
Do people want to do that? I mean, I know Paul had mentioned on a recent ARP call that I was on part of that, maybe people could make suggestions about how to change the forms. I don't know if people want to do that like individually and then come back at a future meeting and talk about those. I mean, there could be a I don't know if it needs like a subcommittee.
Oh, I was going to suggest maybe just establishing a subcommittee similar to what we did with the regulations, where we can just get together for an hour and actually hammer out some of the ideas.
Yeah, I would encourage that too. Just to follow up my comments, I think the application could use a refresh and be more clear on the types of information that we're trying to extract with the questions. I think right now there's a lot of overlap between them, so I think we could be the application could be more concise and clearer on the information, as Diane said, the information that we're trying to glean from these applicants. So I would encourage a subcommittee.
Yeah, I agree with both. And is the application fillable now? Or is it still
online,
typed?
electronic? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is fillable.
Okay.
But it is finite space. So as you fill, your text gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
We saw one of the applications that came in recently. It was like a size 5 font by the time.
Is that something we could actually just ask now for IT to start looking at, seeing if we can, that one little change could be made?
If you click on that box, it'll blow it up. So if you have your mouse over it, you hit your mouse, it'll blow it up so you can see it. When you're typing it in, I'm not sure the applicants what they see, but for reviewers, you can blow it up very easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't print the packet.
Yeah. It's meant to be electronic.
It's meant to be electronic, so you can zoom out. Or zoom in.
Did people want to figure out who wants to be on the subcommittee now? Do you want to wait until next month? Like, what do you want to do?
Wait.
Yeah, why don't we give us a month to think about it, and then and we'll be that much further along on the exam.
Yeah, because a bunch of you are on the exam, and that's like really heating up right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We could put on the agenda for next month and see if people are ready, or how it looks.
You don't show up.
You mean just the application part, right? I mean, just talking about the application.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not on the exam committee, so I'm happy to serve on the application committee, subcommittee.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and I think it was mentioned earlier, but now that we have these 3 that we need to review, taking notes as we're kind of going through them to kind of see what changes or things we might come up with. So
Well, and if we have, I mean, I don't know how many people we need, but if we have 2 people and then Matt and I could assist, maybe that's enough.
Sure, we can get it started.
But I'm happy to participate too. I know I'm on the exam committee, but I'm happy.
Yeah,
happy-
I am too, because I think it's important to look to what other people are doing, and it's easy enough to get those and look at other applications.
Same here.
Who was
I'm
that?
happy to do that too.
Who was the last person?
Oh, Jamie.
Oh, sorry. Do you guys, well, since Gail and Paul are pretty busy with the exam, do you want to sort of wait to kick this off for a little bit, or do
Yeah,
you not?
why don't we plan on scheduling something at the next meeting?
Right.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn and go into quasi and not come back to the meeting?
So, let's see, we got that. I don't think there's any other business.
Do we have
Okay.
a quasi invite yet, Chris?
I sent one out last week. I can resend it.
Could you send it to me again? And make sure it goes to my my GLB address, because I'm on that computer right now.
Okay.
If you send them out
Thank
to
you.
everyone.
I sent the quasi invites out. I can send them out again. I sent them out over a week ago though. Because I set up the meetings like a week ago Friday. I've done all the invites then.
That's probably why it gets so far down in our list. It's hard to find.
I can't
Yeah,
find mine
when-
either.
When this meeting closes, I will I'll go into the quasi, resend the invite. So give me like 10 minutes and then I'll start the
Okay.
quasi up.
All right.
Okay, so our next meeting is March 11th. And we are going to have a quasi judicial session immediately after this, and we will not be returning to public session. Adjournment at 12:55.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
In a minute.